We're going to change up the afternoon. You'll get your question answer sheet out. Get this off the chair right this minute. This is the first time you all are back from lunch on time. Maybe you could keep doing that. Check your sheet. Oh, it's all the crap. All right, now get out of the way.
All right, it's Halloween, much to discuss, lots to talk about. So a little later, we'll be talking about trick-or-treating and making costumes. But first up, the common and simple, carving a pumpkin. Now your mom probably taught you how to do this when you were younger, but I hate to tell you that your mom lied. So what we're trying to make today is a Jack O Lantern. Does that look right? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to make that a backwards Russian R. We'll just make that a peace sign. All right, so what does this mean? So Jack is actually Latin for guy. Like Jack's over there, he's a guy, right? This O is actually Arabic for whip. And then we have lantern, which is Sanskrit for light. So we're just making a guy with some light in his face. Now, traditionally we carve a pumpkin. You may see in rare cases people might carve something else. They might carve a gourd or looks as a turnip. I've never seen that one. Probably really rare, but if you see that, no big deal. You don't want to be carving a tomato. That's going to get messy real quick. That would be a poor choice. Now, before we carve, this is really important, we want to do our full pumpkin assessment system. So hopefully everybody remembers this. Right? 3 steps to the pumpkin assessment system. So first up, we have the aroma. So just go up to your pumpkin, just give it a good sniff, kind of like a baby going, I just crapped myself. And then, if that aroma is off, you're going to want to get rid of that pumpkin for obvious reasons. And you're going to want to check the structure of the pumpkin. So just give it a good tap and a knock. We're not doing a big punch and knock it off. Just a tap just to see that it's still intact. And then finally we want to check the skin of the pumpkin. So just see that there's no big cuts on there. There's a little scratch like this, not a big deal. And you just want to see that the color is a nice deep color, kind of like a tangerine or a carrot or maybe an orange.
What if it's one of those pumpkins that's supposed to be green?
Yeah, what if? What if I'm trying to carve the pumpkin and I think I hear a mountain lion, and then I get a boost of adrenaline, like, ah! And then it turns out it's just Marcio. And I say, Marcio! Got that Gravex! So we're not going to do any what if questions in here, alright? Alright, so moving on, time to carve. So you don't want to make a nice big circumferential cut around the pumpkin here. And you notice the trick, there's a McNotch right there. That way it can't slide around when you're trying to put it in, because that's amateur hour. So now we have access to the pumpkin in here, and we take our scooper And you just want to reach in there and get out all the seeds and gunk and anything else that's in there. There might be some fungus in there, which is going to be really gross. You'll be sitting there like, oh, right, I don't feel so good. But just reach in there, scoop, 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 scoop. Get it all out, and then you're ready to carve. Now when you're carving, normally you want to make sure you have a nice, safe carving knife. If you're in the wilderness style, you can improvise something else. You could use a knife or a pocket knife. You don't want to use something like a bayonet or a katana or a chainsaw. Those would be bad choices. But something like this is good. And you want to be real careful when you're doing this, because it's real easy that you're carving along and then your buddy says something and then you're distracted and then you just go right through your radial artery and it's going to be spurting blood and that gets messy real quick. Plus you want your radial artery so that you can do stuff like... And then you just have to decide what you want to do with your pumpkin. And there's a spectrum of different choices. You can do something silly with, googly eyes and a tongue out. Or, on this end of the spectrum, right, a little bit scarier. Maybe you have kind of demon eyes and fangs. Or way on the scary end of the spectrum, you might have like a bat or a witch. Or way. Have people carving a portrait of your baby. Coca-Cola. So anyway, just start along. Here's an example of a finished product. And that's pretty much it. It's real basic stuff. We'll have this set up. You guys should all be practicing this at night. You have your bingo sheet, so get 18 sign-offs. For your exam, you're going to need to be able to do this in 7 seconds. All right, so that's pumpkin carving. We're going to go ahead and take we'll make it a 3-second break, and then we'll be talking about trick-or-treating.
Okay, you guys, so we're going to talk about trick-or-treating. I know this is a subject that many of you probably have a lot of experience in, but gosh, it's important that you do it. So let's start with how many people do you guys think it would take to maybe take one kid trick-or-treating? How many people? Throw some numbers out.
3.
5.
8.
I was once part of a 47-person one princess. She was so cute. You want to take the trick-or-treater to a second neighborhood? Double it. You want to take that trick-or-treater out after dark? Quadruple it. You want to take that trick-or-treater out in Memphis? Y'all don't do that. Right. First, can I get a volunteer? Maybe a volunteer I haven't used in a while. Gina. Your first step is taking your trick-or-treater along. You're going to escort them maybe through the neighborhood. You want to get them real close. This is going to be one of those times where you're just going to have to turn off that compassion button and just crank down on that arm. Just go ahead and just bring them right along. Now,